every single time there's another. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Q&A. This is the third one I've done, and every single time I've done one of these, there has been like way more questions than I was expecting. And it's really tough because I have to narrow down all the questions, and there's so many great ones, but I have to like pick and choose the ones that are actually gonna be relevant to talk about to you guys. Nobody's gonna wanna watch a boring Q&A that just has a bunch of mindless questions. So if you guys asked a question and it doesn't get answered in this video, I do apologize, but seriously, like so many of you guys are asking questions, so it just physically cannot happen in one video. So, but we're back, and some good things have been happening lately. There's a lot of very big projects in the works that are actually gonna be coming out Wednesday. Stay tuned for a very exciting video, which you guys will be seeing probably sometime in the evening, but be on the lookout for that. Turn the notifications on if they aren't already, because I do not want you guys to miss this one. It's gonna be really awesome. But without further ado, let's jump into the questions. I've already gone through and screenshotted the ones that I think are gonna be the most relevant to talk about with you guys, so I'll probably throw them up on the screen right around here. All right, so the first question is coming from Ben Vat on Snapchat, and he asks, is it hard to stay determined to reach your goal when you're not motivated? How do you do it? You know, I have to be honest with this one. I am honestly like a very terrible procrastinator. One of my first short films that I put out on this YouTube channel, I talked about this, and I talked about how I wanted to eliminate that and get much better at just following through and executing things that I need to get done in a timely manner, just basically get more efficient with my time management. And it's definitely something that takes some good perseverance to really get good at. But honestly, I think the biggest thing that has really made an impact for me is when I get myself really involved, when I become really passionate about something, that goal becomes so much easier to achieve. That goal becomes more motivating to work towards. So for example, something like this, something like YouTube, which has been just an ongoing goal for a long time for me, much longer than the life of this channel. And that's something we'll get into at one point. I've just always loved it, and I've always had a passion of like creating content and putting it out there to you guys, getting a response back from people. It's just, it's fulfilling. So the fulfillment that I receive from just kind of working at it piece by piece truly does motivate me and drive me to push harder and achieve that long-term goal. All right, so the next question comes from It's Fonzie Doe on Snapchat, and he asks, where do you see yourself in 5 years? You know, I don't think I have an answer for that, because 2 years ago, I don't think I would have expected to see myself here. So 5 years from now, no clue. And I think this is the point in my life where I've experienced the most amount of change and just things happening and opportunities presenting themselves to me like I've ever experienced. So 5 years from now, I honestly have no idea. I mean, I would like to potentially just, you know, have a successful life. I mean, I'm 20 years old now, so by the time I'm 25, yeah, I mean, I would hope I'm just doing well, living where I want to be, doing cool things. And pretty much to summarize, just still mainly doing photo and video, and you know, getting to pick and choose the projects I want to work on, not have to work for anybody but myself for the most part. All right, so those were my favorite questions that came from Snapchat. So let's move into the ones that came from Instagram, which there's a lot more here. This one comes from Can you tell one secret thing about your color grading skill which you never share with anyone before? I would say the one secret I have, which isn't really a secret, but it's kind of just like a fun fact. I practice color grading and I experiment with color grading and going out and shoot and testing new color grades on probably like a 2 to 3 times a week basis. Like, a lot of people will just kind of shoot things here and there, and they'll practice color grading when they're only doing projects. But like, I'll go out and shoot random clips and shoot different like picture profiles on my camera and go shoot different lighting scenarios literally all the time and test. So I guess that's definitely been an attribute in terms of helping me improve as a colorist. But yeah, it's not really secret. I mean, I've just never really told anybody, but yeah. All right, so the next one comes from Husnet on Instagram, and he asks how long the duration of making a short movie. See, that's the thing, is there's no like real set duration for like a short film or documentary. There truly isn't really an ideal time. A short film can be 2-3 minutes, but a short film can also be 30 minutes. I mean, it absolutely depends on the story. It depends on the context. There is no right or wrong duration for a film, if that makes any sense. This one comes from Davis Beacon, and he asks, what got you into photography, filmmaking, also favorite movie? This one has been asked before in one of my previous Q&As, and I did answer it, but I don't think in a very descriptive way. Way back in, I want to say like 2009 or something like that, I was really into watching just tons of YouTubers, and there was a couple of guys that I was watching that were doing airsoft videos. I was really into airsoft, and I wanted to like make videos kind of in that same esque. So I started recording some stuff with like a really terrible Nikon point and shoot. I mean, seriously, my voice was like unbelievably high pitched. I was like a very small child. And I made some like airsoft videos and took some photos, and I don't think I ever posted them anywhere. I think I made like probably like 8 or 9 YouTube videos like talking about different airsoft guns or something like that, but I never did anything with them. And then I did eventually go on to getting into other hobbies and creating YouTube videos for those other hobbies. So I do have an expansive history on YouTube. And like I said, we will go more into depth about my past and my history with photo and video, but that's for another video. Kind of, it's a long story. So I wanna make it good. All right, sweet. Okay, so like my phone is like freezing up. Is anybody else having issues with iOS 11? Because ever since I updated to it, I'm just like getting so many bugs. God. This is a good question that comes from Sean. Okay, oh, he even mentioned, by the way, in case you use this is how you pronounce my name, Sean. How do you find places to shoot? I find a lot of the places that I shoot at from doing something called location scouting. And that's basically sort of running around and scouting out locations that are possible points of interest to kind of see if it'll work for the project, kind of just get a feel, a scope for what the environment's gonna be like, what the light is like. I really often will kind of just be keeping an eye out for things as I'm driving and running errands and just doing general life stuff. I'm always kind of looking around. Once you start to kind of get an eye for photography and filmmaking, you really do start to become more kind of consciously aware of environments and scenes and frames as you're kind of just going throughout daily life. So whenever I'm out doing stuff, I'm just kind of looking to see like what I could do with this environment. Even if it's not something that's actually on my radar, I'll just kind of look at stuff, and as I'm driving around listening to music, kind of piecing music to it, and just kind of seeing like what that could look like if I were to create something here. This is a really good generalized question that I think a lot of people will be able to take something from. Not even gonna try and pronounce the name, but they ask, any tips on buying a camera? Oh man, there's so many things that we can go into when to look for when buying a camera, but the one thing I want to say, the most generalized thing, is don't get so hung up on the price. So many people will use price strictly as like their determining factor for buying a camera. Like they want a camera specifically in a $600 budget. Now, that's great and all, but there are so many more factors that come into a camera to consider other than just how much it's gonna take out of your pocket, that oftentimes people will overlook that. Now, I understand when purchasing something expensive like a camera, price is like the most concerning thing for people. They wanna know like, okay, how much am I gonna get if I take X amount of money out of my pocket? But honestly, you should really start looking at cameras for like what you're really getting out of them, other than just the investment. So for example, you could be looking at a camera in a $600 budget, but little do you know, there is a camera for $700 that you completely just eliminated because you capped yourself at $600 that is offering so much more and is going to potentially help you future-proof yourself and help you grow as a filmmaker, as a photographer down the road, if you would have just saved up a little bit more money to put into a camera. So what I'm trying to say is, don't let price be like the end-all controlling factor of like what camera system you decide to go with. Look at all of your options and really compare things spec to spec, even if it's over budget by just a bit, because spending that extra little bit of money could really save you, because a year from now, you're not gonna really know how much you're gonna improve as a photographer, as a filmmaker, and you know, maybe that $600 camera isn't going to be offering what you need at that point. So it's like you could have maybe just spent $100 and $200 more and you would have been safe at that 1 year mark, at that 2 year mark. You see what I'm trying to get at? Okay, so the next question, I wanna say like 4 or 5 people have asked, and it is, what is my tattoo? I don't know if this is a good angle or not, but what does my tattoo mean? It's basically this tree, if you guys haven't seen it on my arm here. And it has a deep meaning, but the simplified version of it is, during my childhood, I grew up in a cul-de-sac, and that's basically like a dead-end street that's kind of like rounded at the end that has houses. And I had a really great group of neighbors and friends surrounding me. And at the back of everybody's houses was this massive, massive forest. So kind of throughout my entire childhood, like everything was just sort of focused around the woods back behind my house. It was like either hide and go seek or paintball or airsoft, or just like everything like throughout my childhood years seemed to happen around that forest, and just like a lot of really great memories and experiences. And I feel really blessed to have had like a very good childhood and have really great parents and good friends and family surrounding me. So it really has shaped the person who I am today. So I kind of wanted something to remember that, and you know, Douglas fir tree, which was predominantly the tree in those forests, was a good way to remember that. Probably 4 or 5 people ask this question as well. Am I in school? And I've answered this so many times, but it constantly keeps coming up. And the answer is no. I finished high school and pretty much immediately went to kind of working and doing my own things, getting little jobs here and there, and started pursuing photo and video, and then got hired at the camera store, worked there for about 2.5 years. And since I got fired, which if you want to know that story, I have a video, so check the card up here. It's one of these sides, so there'll be a little annotation link to it. Since then, I've been full-time freelance. So I do literally photo and video full-time. It's 100% of my income. So that means I do my freelance work and YouTube primarily, and then other stuff here and there, but pretty much everything surrounding content creation is what I'm doing. If the question ever comes up is, do you think film school or education in this industry is necessary? No. These next questions are gonna be coming from Twitter, and this one's from Colin. He asks, if you could collab with anyone on YouTube, who would it be, and what would the title of the video be? This literally happened last time I did a Q&A. I literally like went over the 30-minute limit, kept talking for like another 10 minutes after the camera stopped recording, and I even knew the limit was coming up. Like, what? Ugh. I think if I could collab with anybody, it would be the guys from IFHT Films. Their vlogging channel is called Matt and Jason, and if you guys haven't seen their stuff, they produce some like really cool, like high production short film type things, but most of their stuff is focused around mountain biking and like mountain biking vlogs and all kinds of really cool action sports stuff. I love those guys' content. I love their personalities. I like the overall like theme that they put into their videos, and they kind of use retro themed stuff a lot, which is like, I don't know, it's just super sick. I love the whole style they got going on. So I'd really like to work with those guys. What would the title be? I don't know. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, guys, there is some seriously cool stuff that is upcoming that I'm super excited for. Again, video is gonna be dropping on Wednesday. That's a surprise, so stay tuned for that. And I've just been super busy with freelance, and clients have been coming out of like just a wave, like out of nowhere. It's kind of just, I've been staying busy, and I'm really gonna try and make an effort to like get more consistent here on YouTube, because the audience is still building, we're still growing. So I want to try and get some more consistent content out there for you guys. But your feedback is always amazing. I appreciate the support. It means the world to me. Thank you guys. With that being said, I'm gonna wrap up the video. It's been a long one, but make sure to give the video a thumbs up, guys. It really does help when you do that. So if you're one of those people who like hear it and you're like, oh yeah, thumbs up, but you never do it, just go down there, you just click the little, yeah. Subscribe if you aren't already, and I will see you in the next video.